Year's Eve, and I'm going to start the painting part of this project. A little bit of it's already done. We kind of started doing some of the mudding and taping and priming already. But I'm on my way over to the house right now to start priming a bunch of trim pieces that are going to go on the wall, just because that needs to get done before much of anything else can get done. But this video will be all about the painting process. It's probably just going to be a whole bunch of time lapses of painting being done. Honestly, I don't know if there's too much interesting stuff that's going to happen here compared to some of the other videos, but hey, I mean, it's all part of the process, and it's pretty time consuming, so it's a big part of it. But I'm going to go over there and get started. It's currently New Year's Eve, and it is snowing now a little bit. I don't know how much of that you can actually see, but at least we made it this long until it started snowing. Sometimes by now we've already had many giant blizzards and stuff, but I'm not a big fan of winter, so. The good news, everything in this house is just going to be white, or at least the whole upstairs is going to be white. So it'll be pretty simple. We're not doing any two-tone or anything crazy like that this time. On the last house we did, I did like a gray on all the trim and the windowsills, and that took a lot of work. I'm not doing that this time. Funny enough, the last house we did is right here. It's actually on this corner. That's where our other tenant, Sarah, lives. Shout out to Sarah if you ever watch this video. But the new house that we're working on is right here on this corner. So they're very close to each other at least. And they're both very close to our primary house where we live. So it's not like it's a commute to get here or anything. Got our first layer of mud and tape up here. Becky's been working on that. We'll wait for this to dry and put another couple coats over it and maybe even start painting this room. My shop vac has not been working very well, and I have a suspicion why. Let's see how gunked up this is. Oh. Yeah, that'll do it.
Well, I got at least one coat of primer. You can see there's some spots that definitely need some more attention, a few more coats. But I don't know, some of these are pretty good. I mean, you can barely even tell there was ever a seam there. This one over here kind of blended away. There's a little bit of a wrinkle in the drywall paper there, which I don't know if I can really fix, so it's probably just gonna stay that way, but that one came out really smooth. It's not bad. Especially this wall over here. There was a seam here and there that you can barely even tell were there. So once there's a couple coats of paint on it, they will definitely be gone. So it's not looking too bad. And then out here, I got some of these walls coated with primer up until the point that I ran out of primer. So I started to just at least get one coat on all the seams to help cover that up, because I figure those will probably need multiple coats anyway. So, but there we go. We got some primer up. I'll probably get another one of these buckets. I think it's a 2 gallon of primer tomorrow, and that'll finish up the rest of the space, plus give me a little extra to do some extra coats in the spots that need it. But then we'll start painting. I think Becky's gonna start painting this room tomorrow, probably in the morning. We've already got paint ready to go, so she can go ahead and start rolling this thing out. Gotta take a quick break from painting because we're getting a new stove delivered. There they are. Woo, new stove. It's probably the one of the cheaper ones that you can get, but it'll work. Asking yourself, why prime all these boards yourself? Why not just buy primed 1x4s from the store? Well, primed 1x4s cost like $8 a piece, whereas these unprimed ones, which are, as far as I know, the exact same wood, just without this process being done to them, cost about $2 each. So if I have to buy, I don't know, let's say like 100 of these, you're looking at $200 versus $800. So it makes quite a big difference to just get the ones that are not primed and just prime them yourself. And I mean, this isn't that much work. You just roll some freaking primer onto them. It's kind of tedious and a step I wish I didn't really have to do, but for $800 or I guess $600 extra in my pocket, I'll gladly roll some primer onto some pieces of wood, because it's not really that much work, honestly. Come on. This could be a really stupid idea, but I want to pocket joint this piece of trim to that piece of trim. So I've set up this pry bar and bent it away from the wall a tiny bit. And I got my pocket screws all set here. Let's see, I'm not sure how possible this is gonna be, but it'll keep this joint nice and tight forever if I can pull this off. Get that right there. And then I'm gonna have to get my drill back in between here So you should be able to see. There's the screws there. I'm gonna try and get them if I can. Check that out. Now we should have a nice strong bond between these. There we go. So this is how this trim piece turned out. Looks pretty bad. It needs a little bit of caulk and everything and actual paint, but it fits in there pretty well. A little bit of a gap up here, but I'll be able to fill that in. But I don't know, I got some of this door trim done. Got a couple trim pieces that are gonna go, they're basically gonna do the same thing that those are doing, just up in this corner up here. And I've decided, with the ones on the wall, I made them in two pieces, but there's this seam in the middle that, I mean, there's like almost no way to get that perfect. So I decided with the ones on the ceiling, I'm just gonna make one giant trim piece. And I've got it all here, primed, ready to go. I just am now realizing I have no idea how I can lift this up and actually attach it to the ceiling. You can see I've got it all nicely pocket screwed together all the way down, so these boards are never going to separate or anything, and I like that about it. I just don't know how I'm going to get it up there. So one whole side of the room here all trimmed up is gonna look like. It just needs to be painted so that you don't see all the little marks and nail holes and stuff, but got myself another trim piece put together. It's a long one. So this is gonna go right up along here, just like that one. I'll have to see if there's a way I can get it up there by myself, otherwise I'm gonna have to have Becky come help me again. This room is all trimmed and caulked and ready for its last coat of paint. All the edges are looking pretty good. I'm not too disappointed by any of it. There's a few spots that I had to fill in with some drywall putty, just because there were some pretty big gaps, but I mean, none of these walls are straight, so it's hard to do something like this. There's one little part of my OCD that kind of kicks in here because of this, but that was the only way I could do this and actually cover up the seams in the drywall. There, it's off a little bit. As you can see, these don't line up perfectly, but unless you're laying on the ground right below it, you'll never even notice it. It looks totally fine. But there you go. There's the finished product for this room here. Just need to do some painting, and then we'll be able to figure out what we're going to do with these floors. I don't know if I'm just going to get a big rug to put in here, or if I'm actually going to try and sand or refinish this to, you know, hide where you can tell the floor is sun damaged or whatever happened there. But otherwise, I don't know. Actually, the fact that it's centered and symmetrical on both sides makes me think it's kind of cool, and maybe I'll just leave it like that. But now I get to start on this room, doing the same thing. I just kind of finished patching up my access hole here. There'll be a little trimmed out door that I'll make that'll go on there to be able to get into the crawl space. And then I just need to do the same trim job out here on all this. I finally got a light for the stairs over here. I kind of hate it. It's like a $10 Menards light. It's super cheap, but hey, it lights up the stairs. So, but that's it for today. Unfortunately, one of my tasks here coming up is going to be cleaning up the garage where I've been storing all of my mess. Few more pieces of this trim put up. This is the longest one I've had to make so far. Becky had to help me hold it up over there. But now that wall is just about done. And then I just finished up this corner over here. This was real tricky. There's a lot of angles and things going on right here in this corner. I had to do a little bit of experimenting with some test pieces, but I think I got it pretty good. There's a few gaps and things that aren't perfect, but that'll just all be filled in with some filler. And then I just need a piece to go down and connect down in there, and then a piece to run across that gap. And then that's pretty much all the trim, except for the two pieces on the ceiling. The two pieces on the ceiling I actually can't do just yet because we still have something we have to figure out with the chimney. It's having a little bit of a water issue that we got to get figured out before we button that up. But yeah, I mean, all this trim is looking pretty good. A lot of the little cracks and voids and stuff have all been filled in, so it looks nice and smooth. I like it so far. Becky's done a really good job with the caulking and filling and all that, and I've just been kind of cutting these things down and stapling them to the wall. But here's where my door is going to go. But we've just started patching up the wall a little bit down here. This is the last part to get any sort of attention, but it was this nasty yellow color. Now it'll be, white to match the rest of everything. And the stairs are being covered with carpet, along with everything else where you see the wood up here. This will all be carpet later in the week here. And that'll be the very last step, and then it will actually be done. But there it is for now. I've made a pretty huge mess here, but I got one of the windows kind of trimmed out here. I just went with something very simple. It'll be easy to paint and easy to replicate on the other window in the other room. But that's what the windows will look like, obviously painted, but I put a little shelf down here. I don't know, it came out okay for something as simple as it is, but it hides the foam and everything behind the window, so I don't hate it. suppose this has to be done at some point. Oh, come on. Finally decided to get the drywall in the closet here. It's one of the last things I have to do. They're going to be coming and putting carpet in here in a few days, so I have to get something done. So I got to find a few pieces of scrap drywall to cover these walls. I did a real quick, dirty drywall job inside the closet here. I even went as far as to mud some of the seams. I do not care about the corners. I'm just gonna probably throw up some just white paint in here and call it a day. It's just a closet, so I don't really care if there's finished trim or anything in here. There's gonna be some guys coming to put some carpet in here in a few days. So I had to get something on the walls, but I'm gonna wait for the mud to dry and just throw some paint in here. And then the closet will be ready to go. I don't think I'm gonna put any sort of door or anything on it. It's just gonna be open. And as far as lighting goes, I plan on just putting one of those like tap light things that's battery powered just right in here or something. I'm not gonna bother running power in here because, I mean, seeing as how there's no door, there's plenty of light in this room shining in there. So I think that'll be fine. Becky got this window primed. So that's almost what the finished product will look like. I ended up adding a few more little trim pieces around the sides just to square it up a little bit. It looked a little weird with the overhangs, but this also hides some of the gap that was behind it. But it's looking pretty good. It's all nice and neat. A little too much foam in here. Let me get this nice and flat. Better. Gotta love January. -2. Friend of mine who is a plumber, shout out to Nick if you ever watch this, but he stopped over and he got these fittings soldered on to the radiator cores here for me because I don't trust myself with stuff like this. I'll do just about anything I can DIY, but I don't want a pipe bursting in the bedroom or something, so that's going to be the radiator core that will be mounted to this wall right here. And that'll keep this room and hopefully, you know, a good portion of the upstairs heated, at least a little more comfortable than it is now, even though it's almost, I think it's almost 60 degrees up here still. 61 actually, so that's not bad for there being no heat at all. But one more thing off the list, I got to run these are special hydronic, I'm not sure what's special about them. There's like an oxygen blocking layer to these PEX pipes that are specific for radiant heat, but those will run behind the wall and connect to these little stubby pipes right here that I probably can't see because it's too dark, but those are the pipes that go down to the basement, connect to the boiler. So I just need to connect those up, mount this thing to the wall, and we should have some heat up here. Got the radiator on the wall here. It's all plumbed up. Got PEX going into the wall there. I need one more like 4-foot section of PEX. to finish this. I didn't have quite enough. You can see in my crawl space here. I was that much short. I just got to make it to there from there. But you can see my lines go all the way down that way and then go into the wall. I'm probably going to throw some insulation bats or something just on top of this so it keeps it a little bit protected from the cold. Although, as you can see, fully insulated in here, so it really shouldn't get too cold. But just in case, I do not want these things to freeze. So I'm going to go get one more section of PEX, finish this up, and then I can go turn on this loop in the basement and get some heat up here. Here's the finished product for the radiator. Doesn't look too bad. It's cheap and it's pretty flimsy. The first time somebody kicks it or shoves a bed into it or something, it's just gonna crumple basically. But at least the core inside of it is pretty durable, so that thing's not gonna break open and leak water or anything. But they do sell like rebuild kits for these where you can just get like the outer skin and just kind of slide it over the core without unhooking it or anything, so you can fix these if they ever get dented up or scratched or anything. But hey, it's better than nothing, because it's actually kind of cold up here now in this room. That'll mostly get fixed by the window trim being put in place because it's a little drafty, but now there will definitely be a nice toasty bedroom up here for somebody. Got this whole area cleaned out, ready for the carpet guys to come tomorrow. So basically everything that you see that is wood here, including that, will all be covered in carpet, and the stairs. The stairs will be carpet too. Turns out the part of the floor under they had like some weird linoleum stuff down here. It actually doesn't look too bad. That could totally be like sanded and made to look nice again, but the rest of the stairs, not so much, and it wouldn't match anything else. So carpet for the whole thing. Somebody made a comment about trying to fix this floor and make it look nice, but this is not the type of floor that you try to really do anything with. It's all knotty and has holes in it and stuff. It needs to be covered up. And I mean, with carpet, you can replace carpet every other year for a couple $100. You cannot do that with wood. So seeing as how it's going to be a rental, I'd rather just know that, when somebody ruins it, we just get new carpet right out of their security deposit. Easy peasy. So that's the route we're going. But next time you see this room, it should look quite a bit different. I made a little bit of progress on the window trim for this window. It's as far as I got tonight. It's like 9:30. I'm going to call it a night for tonight. I'll finish this up tomorrow night probably. But this window's, about double the size of the one down that way. So I basically just am doing the exact same thing, just a little wider, and there'll be another trim piece that goes in the middle to cover up that piece that I just got to get in there. But that's all I got so far. I've been struggling today to figure out why I cannot get hot water from this boiler to go up to my new room upstairs. This line right here is a line that we added that goes over and connects to a pipe over here that goes straight up to that room. And then there's another pipe over here that ties into the rest of the system that also, basically, these two pipes right here, they both go straight up to the attic and then connect to my radiator up there. So you're supposed to have a feed and a return so that hot water circulates up, comes back down, goes back to the boiler. And that is not working. And I think I've figured out why. And that's because after tracing all these pipes back, this is the feed for the bathroom in one of the bedrooms. And as you can see, it comes over here, connects to this pipe that goes upstairs. This right here, this goes across the ceiling and connects to the positive pressure side of the boiler. So it is also a feed. One of these needs to be connected to this side of the boiler. So it's a return. So the pump is actually pulling it back down and forcing it, through the boiler again. So basically my radiator upstairs, both ends of it are connected to the same side of the boiler. So they both have equal pressure going into them, which means nothing's ever going to circulate through. It's equally pushing water up both these pipes. So that explains why I'm not getting any hot water up there. I get some water up there and I'm able to bleed the air out of the system, but that's just because the pressure from both of these is pushing air up, and then I can bleed the air out and eventually hot water gets up there. But once it cools down, it never warms up again because there's no new hot water coming up there. It's already full. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to call my boiler guy back, the guy that ran this line for me, and we're going to have to move this line to over here, I think. I mean, I'm no boiler expert, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here, and that's why I can't get anything to flow through the new radiator up there, which really sucks because I just finished hooking it up finally. So another little thing to deal with, but hopefully this is... The guy knew what this was for. It just took me a month or so to actually get around to hooking it up, but it's kind of their fault that this is not hooked up to the right side. The guy should have known this, so I'm hoping I can get him back out here to do something about that without me having to pay for it, but I guess we will see. Here is the carpet. I've got just a little bit in the closet there, but this is the main part that really had quite the transformation. Looks and feels way different in here now. Especially over here at the stairs, it looks so much newer and nicer and cleaner than the creaky old wooden stairs. They even make a lot less noise now when you go down them. But the whole room feels a whole lot more cozy. There's way less of an echo up here. Just need to, I guess, finish up a few last little details here with the paint and the trim and stuff. And we'll have a finished space up here. Few pieces of trim done up here. That's about what that is going to look like for now. I need to come up with something creative to go around the chimney here because it needs to be removable, unfortunately, just in case anything up in here ever leaks or needs to be looked at, or anything with the chimney. I don't want it to be permanently covered up, so I'm going to have some section of decorative trim it'll go around the chimney, but it'll be held in with screws and it'll just be able to be removed if it's ever necessary. And then I need to do something here too. I need to just build a little door, just a square that I'll screw on the wall that I can take off if I ever need to get in there to access anything. But yeah, I think we're down to the last couple pieces. There's these two pieces of trim that are going to go along here, one that'll go across right here, and then one that will go down there connecting these two together just to cover up that seam. That was a spot in the house where the rafters up here were way too far out of whack to be able to get this to look smooth in any good way. So I'm just going to cover it up with a piece of wood. But we got our window basically done over there. I think this whole wall might need one more coat of paint just to cover up some of the little shadowy spots and things like that, but that's looking pretty darn good now. And I need a railing. I'm gonna have to come up with something for the railing. My plan of having something going to this corner, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out anymore. but I'll come up with something. Becky started putting some primer on this window. I think this thing's gonna look pretty decent when it's done. I put just enough detail into it to give it a little bit of character, and I did end up putting a little shelf down here on the bottom so you can actually, you know, put some stuff on there if you wanted to. It kind of matches the one over there. But for my first time building any sort of window casing, I am not too upset with it. It's not perfect, but it does block the breeze from outside, and it'll definitely hold a AC unit in the summer, because that will definitely be needed up here. It gets very hot, but there we go. One last little project I'm working on here, since so many people commented saying I needed a railing here. Here it is. This is the beginnings of my railing system. There'll just be some cross bracing here, and then there, and then there. It's all tied into the rafters up above here. That's why this one is not up to the corner there, but I'm just gonna have whatever I end up putting here, it'll just extend past a little bit, but there's the beginnings of it. Just gotta figure out how I want to make the cross pieces work here to look nice. But here we go. Quit complaining. Here is my railing. Now that it's got some color on it. It looked a little barnyardish when it was didn't have any paint on it yet, but man, I actually really like the way this looks now. I think it matches the rest of the trim and everything. It's very angular. I don't know if anybody would consider this a piece of art, but I do not hate it. It's I got a few little plugs and things in the back that I still need to fill in along here, but that's just about the finished product. I'm pretty proud of that one. Just for something I came up with kind of in the afternoon. It was an idea I had in my head. It turned out pretty well. Just need to do a little bit of caulking and filling in some of these little plug holes like those and these over here. And this thing will be done. And then it won't seem quite so sketchy to stand at the top of the stairs anymore. But these things are screwed right into the plate that runs down here, and then it's screwed directly up into the rafters above the drywall, which is why this one is offset a little bit. Otherwise, I would have had it, right over here in the corner, but I actually kind of like the way this little overhang here looks, and it's still very rigid, so it's not going anywhere. But yeah, this room, that was kind of the last little detail I had to take care of. So here we are. I think this is pretty much the finished product. It's very white in here. I almost kind of wish we would have gone a slightly different color on all the trim, like maybe just a different shade of white or a light gray or something. That would have added a whole lot of accent to this room, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Hopefully it stays looking this nice for a while. Whoever's in here is going to have to take care of it, but I think I need to get just one more coat of paint on here and touch up a few little spots here and there, a little bit more caulk and filler and smooth things out. But I think we're finally at the finish line on this one. We're all up and running now. A guy from the hydronic company came back out and switched a few lines around, and now this thing gets very hot, so no issues with this thing getting hot now. So this room stays nice and comfy. Closet's got carpet and some paint, and I threw a little shelf in there just for the heck of it. Tenant can figure out what they want to do in there. But this room now is all buttoned up. Carpet looks good, all the trim is up, everything's painted, got my railing over there. Windows are all sealed up. So there's the final product. I'm gonna do my best to throw in another before and after here just to see how much of a difference this is. But here you go. This is a before looking from the bedroom. Come back over here and it's hard to even remember what this room looked like before. It's so different now. We'll get a before shot of what this angle looked like before compared to what it is now. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I knew I'd be able to whip something together up here, and I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, this is no professional job here. I definitely cheated a few things. But, the drywall has some blemishes and streaks and things in it. It's not perfect. You can see some little scuffs up here on the ceiling. And I don't know, I could probably use one more coat of paint over everything, but it's a rental. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be nice enough for somebody to want to live in. So, but there we go. I think that's going to be the end of this video, this being the 5th in the series. I don't really know if we'll have a 6th. Maybe we'll just do a quick walkthrough of the whole place and kind of try to do some before and afters. Not much changed downstairs, other than just some paint and a few lighting fixtures, but this is where the real transformation happened. So, I don't know, I'm sure before too long, we'll get the itch to dive into another one. It's surprisingly nice out for January. It's going to be February tomorrow, I believe, and it's... Oh man, it's like almost 40 degrees out right now. I'll take it. But yeah, I think we're gonna wait at least a little while before we dive into another one of these projects. We need to recoup some of the expenses from this one. I think all in all, we probably spent $7 or $8 grand doing all of this. And that includes carpet, drywall, framing, getting the boiler redone, getting the chimney redone, a bunch of other things. It all adds up, but that is the cost of doing business. It's all an investment. There'll hopefully be a return on that. We do have a tenant that is going to be coming by here today to sign a lease. So they're going to be moving in about 2 weeks, and we'll get some money flowing in off this guy. But I think that's basically the end of the journey here with this one. It's been interesting. It's been fun. It took I think we closed on this place in September. So I think we've had it now for at least 3 months. I guess I didn't really expect to have it quite that long. I thought maybe 2 months. I definitely didn't expect to get this all done in 30 days, but it definitely took a little bit longer than that. There's, I don't know, as I walk around in here, I'm seeing all these little things that I kind of want to fix now too. There's a couple last minute details I'll need to figure out. Like, look at this. I just noticed I forgot to fill in this hole here, but you know, whatever, little things. Yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this one. I know I've said that like 4 or 5 times now. But yeah, we'll probably do another series like this for the next house. Or I think we may end up selling one of our other properties. We have one up in West Allis near Milwaukee that it's kind of far away. It sucks to have to go up there to do anything with it. I can't do a lot of the stuff myself. I end up having to send, another contractor over there to take care of stuff that I'd like to be able to do, but it's just so far away. But the tenant is she let us know that she's going to be moving to Arizona in August, I think, or something, over the summer. So we may just sell that property and then put that into another property down here in Kenosha where we are. Because that'll just make things easier. But so we may end up doing another project then, or if we don't sell that house when she moves out, I may end up doing some projects up there that I'll probably document. So until then, I think that's going to be it. It's been fun. I'm ready to not step foot in this house again for a little while. Need to get back to my own life. I've been spending every night here for months, so I'm glad to have it done. I'm pretty proud of it. It's probably the biggest project I've taken on by myself, or me and Becky. You know, she did a lot of this too. She did a lot of the painting. So the biggest project we've both taken on out of all our houses that we've done so far. So who knows what the next one will be? Hopefully nothing this crazy, but I guess we'll see you on the next one.